Alright, get something a little different here today. I picked something up, and I got my buddy Mike here. Mike?
How you doing?
And Mike was looking at this. It was at a show that we were at recently, and Mike was looking at it, and he was excited about it. And I didn't even give it a second thought. I didn't look at it even twice. And Mike kept going back to it like 3 or 4 times looking at it, and I said, what's so special about it? And he told me, he says, it's a Brownwall. And I don't know if you can see that. I've never heard of a Brownwall before. And then after doing a little research, they were only around for a couple of years. 1912 to 1920 or something, but anyway, it was a friend of ours. He picked that up at an auction, and it's all apart. It looks like it's together, but it's all apart. It doesn't have a head. It's a headless. You know, the whole cylinder comes off as one, but maybe Mike will explain to you. I got a bucket full of parts too. Maybe put that up there, Mike.
Let's bring the parts over and take a look at what we have here. So it's mostly complete. It's disassembled right now for the most part. We got the flywheels and the crankshaft together, and the bearings, the Babbitt bearings, are in their carriers. They're loose. It was just loosely assembled mostly, so it didn't lose everything.
Yeah, well, even the cap is just just sitting on there.
Right.
But it runs smooth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Babbitt's probably in good shape. It probably just needs to be reshimmed. So it'll be fine. No problem there. But we're going through our parts here. We got things like a cam gear. That's going to mount up on the front side here. It's kind of hard to see, but that's going to sit about in this area right here. So we got the cam.
That looks good.
Right. The piston and rod.
Okay. Let me see that rod. I noticed something about. We didn't notice it until after we bought it, but there's actually a crack in it right here. And our theory behind it is there's no head on here, so nobody could have pounded on it. I think that was stuck, Mike, at one time.
Yeah.
And they probably tried to go through the cylinder to get it out, because the way that's opened up a little bit, it's. I think we can save it though. I know a guy that might be able to weld that.
Right. Yeah. Weld it, and then we could put it in the lathe and clean the groove back out. It should be savable.
Yeah. Even if you couldn't save it, you know, it's only it's pretty much a standard 3-inch piston.
Is that what it was?
3.5, 3.25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right. They're out there.
Even
if it's not a Brownwall part, there's parts that we can make work.
You could even make that whole thing in the lathe if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But anyway, what else we got here, buddy?
And a couple rings.
We're missing one ring.
Yeah, probably broke when.
I already checked that. I could buy a whole set for $18.
Yeah.
But I think I might check with my buddy Rob, and he probably has one.
Got your intake valve cage here in the mixer. Just a real basic fuel mixer. Looks like we need to do a little bit of work to the needle valve there. So this mounts up front here, like that. So that's your intake valve and your mixer. The exhaust valve sits down in this body here. Got a couple different valves here.
Hey, hold that back up there, Mike.
Yeah.
And actually, the rocker arms go on the side, right?
There is no intake rocker arm.
Oh, it's atmospheric.
Yeah,
okay.
atmospheric intake.
There you go.
So you do have a push rod for the exhaust, though.
Okay.
Nothing on the intake.
Interesting. I'm learning about it already. And what else we got here?
Well, we got a couple valves. Take a look at this one valve.
Yeah, this is wild.
I've never seen anything like that before.
Let me see where I can go. Here we go. Yeah, check out that valve. You know, Mike, I bet you that was still working. You know, it is pitted, but I bet it was still working until it finally shut down.
It's hard to say what valve that was. I'm guessing that these are the originals right here. So it probably had.
It's probably the exhaust.
Could be the exhaust. This could be the intake. I don't know. You can see how pitted they are. So somebody's done some work to this engine. This is a valve out of something, you know.
But anyway, like Mike says, here's a brand new valve to go with it.
Yeah, and then there's already a newer valve in the intake, and somebody actually has already done some machine work, because this guide is really nice and tight. So guide, the keeper, and
even the valve and the seat.
Yeah, you can see the seat's been recut. See how it's shiny there?
Yeah.
So we don't know if it's cut correctly. We'll have to verify that yet, but I think
it probably is. Yeah.
You know, so that's already been done for us. I don't know what the valve seat looks like in the
inside
in the port yet, but we can take care of that if we need to.
Yeah. Yeah. The story behind this engine is a friend of ours bought it at an auction from a guy that had a bunch of engines, and he was probably working on this one, and then he just expired. So it went to the auction.
So we got.
So it's not like a piece of junk that was sitting in somebody's yard.
Yeah, you know. So, got the cam follower here, and the part for the push rod. I think that's what that is. Maybe the push rod sits in there, and this operates on the cam. So,
Yeah, this is a hit and miss.
it is. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a latch out arm right here, which looks like it's had some repair in the past. Looks like a new part, or this might even be completely homemade. It's hard to say. But anyway, we can make it work. Looks like you got a governor weight here. This will mount. This would mount piston. Looks like this will probably mount somewhere. Maybe right on here. It's kind of hard to say with that. Probably.
Gonna be somewhat of a puzzle.
Well, yeah. Here's a stop.
Oh yeah, an adjustment.
Yeah, an adjustment, a stop. I don't know. We'll have to clean everything up and start to assemble it and see how the pieces fall. Some random pin. That might be for the fan.
Yeah, that's another thing. This is air cooled. This doesn't have a hopper.
Right.
They did make hopper models of this though, Mike. But this one was the air cooled,
So that
which
fan.
seems to be rarer. You know, I see all kinds of water hoppers around, but seldom do you see these. Mike was telling me he thinks that when they went out of business, or they sold out to Ideal.
Yeah, the Ideal Lawnmower Company, and that's kind of, they carried on the air cooled engine with those mowers, a little hit and miss. And you can see some similarities, like in the governor setup and the latch out. So I don't know how much of that actually crossed over, or if they just built their own engine from scratch. There's a crank handle. Looks like somebody cleaned that up already. Looks like it's probably correct. It doesn't really
go all the way on.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Well, maybe you know what? I bet you the
The
pin
key's not all the way
isn't
in.
all the way on. Yeah.
Could be. That could be.
And look, it even has a
Yeah, you got a
brand new,
crank guard.
brand new crank guard, which you probably won't even put on there. Oh, there you go. I knew Mike would figure. And it is missing an oiler, but I think I have a couple in stock.
I'm not sure that that's actually for this engine. This might be just a universal crank guard, because
Yeah.
there's some things don't look quite right about it. So, but yeah, it
Yeah.
is what it is.
Like I say, I usually wouldn't even use it anyway.
You know.
Yeah. There is an air box that goes over this fan too. I got that in the back of the garage.
Oh, that's right. They are shrouded. They got a big shroud that goes around here. I forgot about that.
Let me see if I can find that. All right. Yeah, this actually, here's the fan, and this actually goes in behind that.
Right. So this would sit.
So it'll give you a little protection from getting your hand stuck.
Yeah, it would slide right on the front here.
And then this little piece will go over there. And
Right.
then this goes where the spark plug is. But like I say, most people don't even use this kind of stuff because, you know, a lot of them like to see the engine and stuff.
Yeah. Right.
And that's what we'll do. I mean, this sheet metal doesn't really do anything for it. It looks like it was homemade.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. It does look like it was homemade, doesn't it? Given how pitted the rest of the engine is,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. This definitely could be homemade.
Yeah.
So, but somebody.
It might be a
decent
reproduction.
job on
Somebody did it. Yeah, they did a nice job on it.
it. Yeah.
But anyway, that's where we're at. That's this probably take maybe 2-3 engine nights, tops.
Yeah, just to get it together. So,
So
depending on what all it needs, it looks like all of the hard parts are here. The piston is going to be a little bit of a job, but we can handle it.
yeah, we'll work it out.
So I got the trip there. This pin goes through here. It looks like, and that threads in right down here.
Look, Mike's got it all half together already.
Yeah. So that threads into the base there, and that rides on the cam. And you know what? Looks like there is no push rod really. That's the.
Oh yeah, right. That'll go right to the back of the.
Yeah. So
the
there's your
valve.
adjustment. So if this valve fits in there, it's going to need to be shortened or trimmed. But that's going to operate the valve like that.
Huh.
It's going to ride. You got a timer. This is an insulated contact.
So what's going on here, Mike? With this, you
that?
got a valve inside here, and then you got that. That's just a push valve to push this one.
No, this is the exhaust valve here,
Oh, okay.
and that's the intake.
Oh, I see what it does.
See, there's
Yeah.
a port or a
Oh,
chamber
yeah.
that leads into the cylinder head.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
This pushes in while that one's out. Then that pushes in, and this one comes out.
Right.
Huh.
So there's a clearance there inside
Yeah.
the. You can see the transfer port is what they call it, that goes into the combustion chamber, and
feel
then
it.
there's a port down here below the valve, which is your exhaust
Right.
port right there. So
Huh.
it's a neat engine. It is.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
You know, looking around there, wondering where the exhaust was, and there it is right there with the intake.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than your standard, Hercules or
Yeah.
Alamo or Associated. Or,
Yeah.
your standard hit and miss engine. It's a little more different, a little more interesting.
Also, the fuel tank is right part of the
the
base.
It's cast into the base, and
This is the filler here.
yeah, we'll have to see what kind of shape that's in, if we're going to be able to run it on that or not. It's difficult. It'll be difficult to clean, but we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
What else?
Interesting.
Cam, and then so that sits there.
Look at Mike.
Yeah,
Mike wants to put it together now.
I do.
That's funny.
But this, let's see.
And up top here, don't even have oil drippers or greasers. You just, I think they were felts, right, Mike?
Yeah, I don't know what these threaded studs are, and there's a wing nut. I haven't seen these in any pictures. They might have been some kind of cap. But yeah, it would have been like a little felt, almost like a mop string that would have went down that hole and laid in that little trough there. You would have filled it up with oil, and it would have kept the bearing wet with oil. So, yeah. It's a neat thing.
It is.
Neat general.
All right. Yeah, so I just figured maybe we'd show you guys, because, I mean, we're doing a lot of work on the truck lately and scooter projects and everything, and I didn't want you guys to think that we're getting away from the engines. We just, we veered off for a little bit. But this will put us back in the swing of things. So I'm gonna leave it. It's gonna be up to Mike to get it run, and I guess it's up to me to get it looking good. But I really haven't found anything of I seen red ones with silver heads, and I haven't seen too many of them. So I don't even really know what color to go with yet.
Right.
But,
We haven't seen any that have been really original. We've seen people who repaint them whatever they want.
Right. But we've never seen an original one.
Right.
So that's where we're at. So you can look forward to something like that. And we should. What's nice about it, Mike? I even picked up the cart for it. I'm not going to build a cart for it. Here, pull us over, buddy. I got this old antique. What do you call it? A hay wheel cart?
Hand truck, right?
Yeah. Lay it down. When you lay these things down, they lay pretty flat and square. And we're going to mount it, and it's going to mount right up front there. And you see that a lot of them, so it's not going to be anything. And I'm going to try and keep the original patina, and maybe just shellac it a little bit.
Yeah, reinforce it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll take it apart, re-glue it, and make it good. But I'm going to keep that same patina. I'm not going to sand it down or nothing. So that's where we're at. All right. What do you say, buddy?
It's enough for this.
Enough for this. There you go. All right. We'll see you guys later.